Last time on Shadow Piece, the introduction to the war came to an end, with Burgess getting a solid victory against the ancient giant Ors and consuming his flesh. He could strike off another meat variant from his to-eat list. The battles all around Hachinosu would only continue to escalate, as the Yogi Poo already encountered the marine warships, and a clash between the marines led by an injured Akainu and Fujitora and the Devil's Luck Pirates was about to begin. On the thriller bark, all the high-ranking members of the Fleet of Death started to assemble. The Sin of Greed Olympus and his right hand Columbus, followed by the entire Yonta Maria Grand Fleet, the Sin of Wrath Sai and his little brother Boo, the Sin of Lust Cavendish and his follower Suleiman, the Sin of Pride Hyrodine and all of the new giant warrior pirates. Only the Sin of Gluttony and the Sin of Sloth were missing, but for this tale they don't matter. Who, however, mattered the most in this moment were the Sin of Envy Idio and his right hand Shooting Star Blue Gilly. While the Sandstorm brothers joined the Yonta Maria Grand Fleet to battle against the grunts of the Blackbeard Pirates, the Long Arm and the Long Leg Warrior rushed across the sky to the battlefield. For Blue Gilly, his own variation of Geppo carried him closer to the center. Idio's form of movement looked slightly more chaotic. As a Long Arm tribe member, he always heavily relied on his arms, and this moment wasn't any different. Each time he was losing height, he unleashed a whip-like punch, catapulting him back next to his right-hand man. Two stars flying over the combat zone, seeing most of their comrades quickly engaging into battle. But they also got a present, as they wanted to reach the giant skull in which they could feel Perona's presence. Bang. In a silent voice, a fighter from the Blackbeard Pirates appeared directly behind Idio and Blue Gilly. In a warp speed, Van Augur shot two close-range sniper shots, blasting the two long-limbed people into the ground, before teleporting to them again. Augur was a rather thin man, with light brown hair that hung down to his lower neck. For a human, he was extremely tall, standing even over the long-legged tribe member Blue Gilly. Many have named him the perfect sniper. He always appeared calm, almost emotionless. His left eye was behind what looked like normal glasses, but the right side was circular and had a crosshair on it. His weapon, Senriku, also attained a lot of fame over the last 2 years, a frightening musket-style rifle. In the Blackbeard Pirates, he was the Titanic captain that finished all of his battles the second fastest, and most of the time the enemies didn't even know what happened. In one movement, two more shots left the barrel of Senriku and charged towards the Sin and his comrades. The long-limbed tribes were known for their conflicts in history, so it almost looked instinctual when Blue Gilly kicked his captain and Idio punched the second on command. Getting up to dodge would have taken too long, so as trusted partners, they saved each other from a lethal attack. Just from the first attack from Augur, both of them realized they could not get hit again, or it would already be over. From the knockback of each other's attacks, they got back on their feet, and now stood on the left and right side of the Blackbeard sniper. While some fighters like to hold conversations, Augur wasn't one of those, and Blue Gilly and Idio didn't need to talk. They had reached a point where they understood each other without any words. In zigzag patterns, both dashed towards the tall human, trying their best to avoid any rifle shots. However, for a sniper on his level, these simple movements weren't enough. With his Devil Fruit power acquired from the Warp Fruit, he was able to teleport himself and things under his control, as well as other people after he touched them. It looked as if he was looking at both Thriller Bark fighters at the same time, and also simultaneously shot at the two of them. Being a ranged fighter came with its own share of disadvantages. Once the bullet left the weapon, it was outside of their control most of the time, especially for a sniper that usually relied on surprise attacks. This was crucial. So as the two shadow fighters evaded the bullets, he teleported away, again, gaining some distance and preparing a finisher. But in this situation, he was lacking critical information about his opponents. Idio's arm started glowing with a black aura, quite different from normal armor and haki, and at the same time, Blue Gilly's legs started emanating a white aura. Before they obtained it, it hadn't been seen for centuries. To be precise, it was last witnessed in the Void Century, during a Great War, in a time where all long-limbed people lived in harmony together. These two went through a lot in the relatively short amount of time they spent together. Directly after the Dressrosa incident, they traveled from Long-Limbed tribe to Long-Limbed tribe, and settled all of their disputes, the only way they knew how, through might. Unbeknownst to them, they changed the fate of the long-limbed tribe, and from every tribe leader they took their ancestral symbol. All together they formed a map, leading the crew to a treasure of their ancestors. Inside of a chest, adorned with many gems and crystals, 2 fruits were lying. They were intertwined with each other, one pure black with a single white spot, the other pure white with only a single black imperfection. Those were the yin-yin fruit and the yang-yang fruit, 2 paramecia-type devil fruits that were once used by the twin rulers of the long-limbed tribes. Even for devil fruits, which still hold many secrets, the concept of 2 fruits having a symbiotic relationship was unheard of so far. For Ideo and Blue Gilly, it felt natural. Their power together multiplied many times, and their minds connected with each other. And on the battlefield of Hachinosu, the powers of Yin and Yang took Van Augur by surprise. Harmony, that was the key to their abilities. Normally, when 2 fighters of that level clash attacks against each other, the surrounding area gets devastated. But when the Yin Fist of Ideo and the Yang Kick of Blue Gilly collided, there wasn't even any wind. None at all. They both took a step back, and before they hit each other again, harmony occurred. Directly in the middle of their contact points, Augur appeared, and he looked confused, until a split moment later his face contorted from being squished by a punch and a kick. He lost some teeth and his glasses were completely shattered. Not missing a beat, he teleported away again, and took aim. He saw the 2 in his scope, clashing their attacks against each other one more time. His finger was already pulling the trigger when he found himself in between a long arm punch and a long leg kick. He didn't understand what exactly was going on, but somehow he who has mastered the art of teleportation got warped around against his will, and that directly into the perfect spot to get hit by the fleet of death warriors. It almost felt like the world was against him, and thus he turned it up a notch himself as well, and reloaded his gun with a different kind of ammunition. No matter how they managed to control his movement, he had a simple solution, and that was to react faster. It was simple like that. A top-tier marksman had to have insane reaction times to win in duels, so to be the best sniper in the world, he just had to prove that as well. He teleported to a safe distance and took aim. This time, however, not at his opponents. Instead, he was simply targeting a spot directly next to him. And then it came. Another harmonious reaction pulled him to his enemies. But the angle was different this time. Quickly he readjusted and fired at Blue Gilly before getting hit by the attacks himself. Was it them controlling where and how he appeared, or was it some sort of different force? His captain always talked about the will of everything. Was this the will of the world that dragged him to a disadvantageous position? Besides being in a 1 vs 2 and suffering from the unknown, Augur remained ever so calm and also accurate. The logical thing was to take care of the bigger threat first, and that would have been the Sin of Envy Ideo, but that was too predictable, so he went for Blue Gilly instead, to maybe get a slight surprise on them. And that he did. His aim was immaculate and pierced right through the left leg of Blue Gilly. Going for the kill might have appeared smarter at first, but to the Blackbeard sniper it became obvious that those 2 cared for each other very deeply. So weakening one of them made the other worry, and thus a mental advantage was acquired. The fact that Gilly relied on his left leg as stabilization for all of his attacks was also very important. This would be a quick battle, as Augur was already staggering as well. High damage output can speed up everything. Blue Gilly was biting his teeth. He already knew that he was weaker than his captain, but he didn't want to be dead weight. Armament Haki flared up and further enveloped his legs. In a way it acted like first aid, but the pain still stuck deep within him. He was known for his speed in the past, but through his practice with Ideo he found out that strength was his actual forte. Despite excruciating pain, the long-legged human jumped into the air, and at the same time Ideo's fist glared up with Yin energy, and he smacked them against each other. Yin carried defensive properties, but also chaos. And in this moment, the Sin of Envy's already long arms extended even more and grappled the sniper. His grasp was so firm that Augur couldn't move even a centimeter, much less use his powers to teleport. And from the sky, the star of the show was coming, the shooting star. And this is the end of today's episode of Shadow Piece. I hope you enjoyed this battle. Well, it's still going on, but I hope you still enjoyed this first part here. Blue Gilly and Ideo, 2 members we don't really know all that much about, but I decided that those 2 with long leg and long limb who are like at fighting each other, they hate each other as a race, but then they are so similar to each other, and now they are traveling together. I felt it was the right idea to give them some sort of minor backstory, that they are connecting deeper and deeper on a bigger level. And thus the Yin Yin fruit and the Yang Yang fruit were born, the ancestral treasure of the long-limbed tribe. It was a pretty big idea to have devil fruits that just can somehow work together with each other. That's something we have never seen before. But I thought in the world of One Piece, that for sure could be possible. So I hope you look forward to the next episodes. For now, that's all from me for today. All that's left to be said is stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay cultured. Pyro out. Bye!